How's it going? Welcome to Game Latte. I'm your host Cindy, and I have been playing a whole lot of Skyrim lately. When the game came out last week, I unfortunately had to work that weekend, so I didn't get to see a lot of it. So this past few days, I've sunk in a lot of hours. I think about 33 hours altogether. And I've been enjoying the heck out of it. This is definitely, I think, the best Bethesda game so far, in my opinion. It's really, really enjoyable from the beginning, and I don't see an end to it anytime soon. I'm already that many hours in, and I haven't even really, I only started to scratch the surface of the main quest. I haven't even finished the third trial for the Dragonborn yet, so I've just been so distracted by everything else that's going on, all the different dungeons, and the quests and all that. And just put it this way, almost have enough money to buy the second most expensive house. So I've got almost 8,000 gold or septims, and I'll be able to buy, the next house. The cheapest house is 5,000 septims. So that's how much I've played, and I haven't even really touched the main quest yet. So fabulous. It's been so much fun. The game is gorgeous. But what I want to talk about today is the Dragonborn. The whole concept of that has got me really intrigued and fascinated. And the more I look into it, the more questions I get, because it seems like the developers and the writers have had this idea for quite a while, but I'm not sure if they've got it all finalized yet, because there's a few inconsistencies, which I'm not really going to go into because this go on quite a bit. Maybe I'll do more videos later about that, but I'm not too sure. For now, I just want to talk about, just my initial thoughts brewing about the whole Dragonborn thing. And before that, I like to talk about my coffee. Also, comes to mind my last video. I said that I wouldn't talk too much at the beginning, but you know what? I've had comments, people saying that they do like me introducing the vidcast at the beginning, just chatting a bit. So I'm going to continue to do that, but I won't go on maybe for so long. So, and what I'm drinking today is just regular dark roast coffee, but my husband bought a bag of espresso, so we've also added it to the whole blend. So what we do is we buy a canister of just regular coffee, and then usually a flavored bag of flavored sorry, I'm tired, I'm repeating myself, coffee grind, and then mix it all together. But this time we also added an espresso just to give it a bit more kick. A little bit of a coffee addict over here. But you know what? It's really cold outside today. We've had our first really heavy snowfall, so I'm actually pretty happy and getting that extra kick. So yay! All right, the Dragonborn. So the main character of Skyrim, you probably know by now, is called the Dovahkiin in dragon language, and is a Dragonborn. What does that mean? Dragonborn, as far as has been explained, is someone born with the soul of a dragon. So, what does this mean? It is, and the more I dig into it, the more confused I get, honestly. The first reference that I found was Saint Alessia, the first empress of Citadel, the one who rebelled against the elves and united the humans against the elves, and then overthrew them and became the empress. She, at the end of her life, Akatosh wanted to bless her, so he anointed her body or her soul with his own, so her soul sort of got mingled with his, I think is what happened. That's not how to explain it, but that's the explanation to me that makes the most sense. And a fragment of that, it says that her whole soul went into the Amulet of Kings, which was forged then. The Amulet of Kings is basically the physical covenant between Akatosh and Alessia, kind of a pact made that all her successors would wear this amulet and light the dragon fires and keep the plains of Oblivion closed. So, and then we all know that in Oblivion, if you played Oblivion, you know that the Amulet of Kings was destroyed, and that Martin became the avatar of Akatosh and sealed off the plains of Oblivion forever. We'll see if that's true or not. But you know, it's been in the events of Skyrim take place, I believe, 200 years after the events of Oblivion, which kind of surprised me. I thought for sure in the next game, in the next Elder Scrolls, that we would get to see a lot more of the conflict of the Empire after the Septim bloodline was ended, but that's not really what's going on. I'm sure that there's going to be more references the more I get into the game about that, but so far I'm really surprised that it was that long after Oblivion. But anyway, I'm getting far ahead of myself. So Alessia was anointed by Akatosh. I think it was Lorcan, this other god, actually came down and you know, talked for Akatosh and said, you know, he's anointing you with his own blood, which I think is more soul. And then her soul, or in my opinion, a fragment of her soul mingled with Akatosh's went into the Amulet of Kings. And then, you know, every emperor after that that's worn the Amulet of Kings and died, their soul also went, or a fragment of their soul also went to the Amulet of Kings, you know, making the amulet very powerful. And the amulet also is supposed to have the power to counsel the heirs, so the following emperors. So you know, they have all this wisdom to look up. So anyway, so the whole Dragonborn thing. So Alessia, I think, was the first one ever, the first Dragonborn, but she wasn't born that way. She became that way. She was anointed, blessed, whatever. So it seems that anybody can be blessed as a Dragonborn. As you know, it seems to be the chosen of Akatosh more than anything else. Oh, I have something to say about Akatosh too later on, but I'll keep that for later. Anyway, so I'm just going to check something here. Sometimes my sound doesn't work. Oh, it does work. Okay, good. Sorry. Alright, so and then Alessia's heirs also were Dragonborn. I'm not sure if they were all born like that, because if you look through the history, it doesn't seem that it's all her physical heirs. The next one we come to know is Remin. And it's, you know, it says that Remin was from Alessia, but I think it was more of a spiritual succession because it's from Sancretor, first of all. So the Sancretor was Alessia's city, where she was ruling from. So he was born there. So maybe he is directly related to her, but I think from generations, because Alessia was long dead. In the mythology, he was supposed to be born from her spirit, or from the mountain of Sancretor, which doesn't make much sense. So I think that's just, you know, mythology. And to explain, you know, Remin's I guess, legitimacy to the throne. But Remin seemed to possibly have been a Dragonborn as well, because he could wear the Amulet of Kings. An interesting thing about Oblivion that I seen pointed out is that Cameron, the bad guy that you fight, also could wear the Amulet of Kings. So, you know, people are like, oh, well, maybe he was Dragonborn too. So it's not just Imperials that can be Dragonborn, it can be Elves too, and it can be just any race, actually, as long as you were chosen or blessed. So your soul is blessed with the dragon power, I guess, is what makes more sense to me than to actually be born with dragon soul, because that, to say that you have a dragon soul, implies that there was a dragon alive at one point, and now you were kind of reborn with that dragon soul. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's your own soul, but it has the power of a dragon. I think that's what it is. It makes more sense to me. Okay, what else comes? So the Septims come along later. The first one was Tiber Septim. known as Talos. His Nord name was Talos. Now, for a long time, we didn't know if Tiber or Talos was a Nord, or what race he was, or Imperial, or what, because he was actually born in Harrock. So that's the land of the Bretons. So I mean, he could have been a Breton, but he was raised in Skyrim. So, and now that I'm playing the game, it seems everybody seems to agree that Talos was a Nord. So whether he was born a Nord or a Breton that was raised as a Nord, I'm not really sure, but he was definitely Dragonborn. He had the dragon soul, and he had the shout, which is this new power we get to see in Skyrim. Now the shout seems to only be so far that I've seen attributed to Talos. I haven't seen, Remin ever. I don't think, from what I've seen in Remin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I was reading, I didn't see Remin having a shout power. But Talos definitely did. I'm not sure if there was a lot of dragons by then. I imagine there were some, and so he was able to fight them and absorb their souls. The more souls you absorb from defeating dragons, the more powerful your voice becomes. And he had a very powerful voice, so I'm kind of wondering about that. Anyway, so Talos, went on a conquering spree and became the next emperor of Cyrodiil. Became Tiber Septim, and then when he died, and also he did a lot like Alessia, he did and united a whole bunch of people together and made the empire as in the Third Era. So the Third Era is when Oblivion ends. When you play Oblivion, that's when it ends, and the Fourth Era comes in when the Septim line is over. So the beginning of the Third Era is when the Septim line begins, and then the ending is when the Septim line ends. And from what I understand, is that all the natural heirs of Talos, all his hereditary heirs, were all Dragonborn. They all had dragon soul because they could all wear the Amulet of Kings, and only they could. So I think if you're Dragonborn, whether you are of Alessia's line, or of Tiber Septim's line, or whoever, or even maybe Mankar Cameron, you can wear this amulet. So Wish is now destroyed, so it doesn't even matter. But which was really interesting. Now, the other interesting thing that I remember from Morrowind is that at one point, the Never, how about I saying that? Nevar. Remin, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The main character from Morrowind was also at one point called Dragonborn. Now, it's possible that that means someone born under the sign of the dragon, not the sign of the dragon, but the banner of the dragon. So someone from Cyrodiil, or someone from the Empire, someone that's not from Morrowind, because I think officially the background story of Morrowind is that you were sent as a prisoner, where you're actually kind of an agent, and you're undercover. You're there to investigate what's going on in Morrowind, and you're sent by the Empire. So maybe that's what they mean, but it's possible, because you do become quite powerful, and you are, a god reborn, that you were also a Dragonborn. But because there weren't no dragons in Morrowind and all that, that never came into play. But it's interesting. It's definitely open for interpretation, that's for sure. That's interesting. So, also I'm wondering if, actually no, I'm not, because I was going to say, I'm wondering if the main player character in Oblivion was Dragonborn too, but no, because you couldn't wear the Amulet of Kings. So I don't think so. What else? And that brings us to Skyrim, and so there's a new Dragonborn, and so yeah, officially, it's anyone that's been blessed by the gods that can be Dragonborn, can have, your soul has basically the same potency as a dragon, and you are able to learn the shouts. Now you come across an order. Now I'm going into spoiler category a little bit, just because I want to talk about just the Dragonborn theory. But so if you want to stop watching right now, go ahead. Go away. But if you've already been playing the game, you maybe played more than I have, then keep watching, please. Anywho, so there's the Order of the Greybeards. They've been around for centuries, a long time, and they, in the land of Skyrim, they've known about the Dragonborn, and they've known about the shouts for a really, really long time. And even though they are not themselves Dragonborn, they have been able to master the shouts through their order. So they're kind of like an order of monks, or they kind of remind me of druids a little bit that live on a mountaintop. So anybody can actually learn shouts if they really wanted to. What that seems to imply. But only the Dragonborn can learn it like that, like really, really fast. And only the Dragonborn can make a shout without learning the actual language. So, but of course, your main character gets called by the Greybeards, and they want to train you, which is good because the more training you get, the more powerful you get, faster. And because the crisis, you're going to need to get your act together pretty fast. So, what's the other thing I wanted to say? I think it's about the shouts. The Greybeards. Anyway, maybe if I remember, I'll come back to it. The other thing I want to mention was the Akatosh and Aldwin thing. So Akatosh is the first divine. He's the first one amongst all the gods, and he's supposed to be in the form of a dragon. He's not the only god in the form of a dragon, I'd like to point out, but he's definitely the most revered and the good. Even though he's a dragon, everybody sees him as a benevolent force, a god. Aldwin, however, a lot of anybody who's basically not Nord believe that Aldwin and Akatosh are the same, but the Nords do not believe that. They believe that Aldwin is another dragon god thing, and he's bad. He's bad news. And Aldwin, you can see this at the very beginning of the game. He's the one that's coming back eventually, and he's raising all these other dragons around. And you find a book at the beginning of the game which kind of details how this happens, or explains how this happens. So So Akatosh and Aldwin are definitely pretty sure I think it's pretty much in stone now that they are not the same dragon. Akatosh is nice, and Akatosh is probably the good versus evil thing. He's probably like the force of good, and he's the one that sends the Dragonborn to Earth to maybe stand against, his nemesis, or he's evil. Maybe it's Aldwin's twin brother or something, I don't know. But Akatosh probably knows that about Aldwin coming back, and sends the Dragonborn on Tamriel to sort of keep the humans and the Mer safe, basically all the mortals safe. And because Akatosh seems to care a lot about the mortals, and he's helped keep the Plains of Oblivion at bay, and now he's probably helping against these evil dragons. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about the Dragonborn and all that. I find the concept really, really fascinating, and it's really epic, and it really explains how the main character can become so powerful, because in Oblivion it's not really explained. You're the champion, you're the hero of Kavach, whatever, but you're just so badass, and you're by yourself a lot of the game. It just seems improbable that someone would do all that stuff alone. In Skyrim, you get a lot of companions. Right now, I have a horse, a dog, and a henchy girl that follows me around. And there's a lot of companions. I hear that if you find a certain amulet, the amulet of Mara, that you can actually marry not just your companions, but everybody. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I'm definitely going to try that out, because most of the followers that I've seen so far are not that appealing. And if you marry a shopkeeper, you actually get some money once in a while. Every time they, get the inventory together or whatever, or sell stuff, you get money. So yeah. And also, if you marry someone that owns a house, you can move into their house. So it's not just having your followers move into your house, you can also move into their house. Fabulous. So anyway, I've been really excited. It's been really great. I have not played a whole lot of Final Fantasy because it's all Skyrim right now. Oh, I also got my acceptance letter for college. So yay! Very, very excited. However, I'm thinking that I won't have much time for games anymore. I'm not gonna freak out too much already, but so we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted definitely. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.